But people have to understand that we are all in this together, and that there's organizations that want to drive us apart. And the way to work out our differences is having conversations and negotiations and figuring out how to work it out. It's not lighting cop cars on fire. Like, this is,
Yeah. But the spirit of those, like, not to defend any of that crap, but that rebellious nature in us is important too, though. It just has to be directed correctly.
Right. You shouldn't be burning Waymos while holding a Mexican flag, trying not to get sent back to Mexico. I mean, you're confusing the fuck out of me, dog. Like, who is your oppressor? Is it the electric car? Is it the country which, you want to stay, but you're holding a flag of another country? Like, why are you wearing a mask? Are you proud of this? Do you not want to get arrested? What are we doing? Are you scared of COVID? Like, I want to know.
Well, it goes back to what you said about mass manipulation, and also, like, we've all sort of lost our identity. That's why politics has become so prevalent in, like, the way people represent themselves to other people, and, like, that's like as our culture and our tradition and, like, sort of the knowledge of where our families and all of that stuff comes from. Like, we're just little boats out in a big ocean, and we're looking for some kind of identity to reach out and grab. And politics, they make politics so easy to reach out and grab and make. Just like in the same way that people just absorb themselves into sports.
Exactly.
They're way out of shape, but they refer to their sports team as we. Like, our defense did really
Jamie
good.
does that all the time. We won. Talks about a college.
Where I'm from.
Some college where he's from.
Well, that's maybe.
Get out of here.
Maybe if he's from there, though, then it doesn't count.
Oh, I'm just fucking around.
Yeah.
I'm not a team sports guy. I'm a combat sports guy, and I would never say we won. Like, if Kamaru Usman beats somebody, I never say we won. Kamaru would call me up. What the fuck are you saying, man? We. You know what I did in camp? How many rounds I sparred?
Yeah, all the punches you took.
It's so crazy. But if there's a group of guys, you can say we.
But that's
so silly.
I see that, like, I just see that becoming more and more prevalent, where there's not, like, I don't know. It's sort of just like, it's kind of even to expand on the thought of it, it's even like the way that now we've all just sort of, we're all in these subcategories the way we would be if we were in prison. We're all like,
right,
in the same way that when we use the word black and white to describe, like, how many different types of white and black are there that all just get merged? It's like, it like creates this maybe like group identity that's a lot easier to control. Like,
for sure. Well, and then it shifts over time. Like, my family wasn't white. My family was Italian. They were disparaged when they first came to America from Europe. And my grandfather used to tell me terrible stories of what happened to him when he was a boy living in America as an Italian. They treated them the same way terribly racist people were treating people from Guatemala that sneak in here. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah. And then after a while, they sort of integrated, and now I'm white.
Yeah, now you're just a white person.
Now I'm just a regular white.
But it's easy now in big public narrative and stuff it's a lot easier to accuse you and 30 other different nationalities of people who are all very culturally different and unique, and just call all of you white people, and then pick the worst thing that one of those nationalities did and just cast it among the whole group. But it happens with every ethnicity, every identity. The goal is to, like, put everyone in the world in one of 3 or 4 buckets, and then hopefully figure out how to just put all of them into one bucket eventually. It's like, it's so much easier to control 2 or 3 different types of people than it is 30 or 40 or 100 or 1,000.
Which is also, I think, why they never fix the problems that ail our inner cities. They want to keep that conflict. I really believe that. Because if somebody wanted to have a better, stronger economy, the first thing you would do is you want more people in the workforce. So you'd want less people that are disenfranchised, completely out of society, felons, all that stuff. That doesn't do anything but cost the country money, right? Unless you have private prisons. Now, in private prisons, those people become a business. And then that business contributes to the escalation of laws. And they want to make sure that laws stay in place, because that way their business is always full. They have plenty of customers. Their customers are human beings that they turn into batteries to generate money. That's what it is. It's like those people, every person they have in there, they get more money, which is wild. It's wild that we allow that. But then it's also like keeping a certain amount of crime in certain areas ensures that you're always going to have debates over law enforcement. You're always going to have conversations over we need DEI, we need this, we need quotas, we need to hire more people of this or of that, ignoring the fact that a lot of these things, especially with universities, are the most racist, especially towards Asians. They're racist as fuck towards Asians. There's lawsuits about it. Harvard, is that still going on, the Harvard lawsuit? Where they specifically made their application process, like the whole acceptance process, more difficult for Asians because they were kicking too much ass. They had too many like Asian people that were willing to fucking work their ass off, study 12 hours a day, get straight A's. They're like, man, there's too many of these folks. We got to make it tougher.
What did they do to make it more difficult specifically?
They attached a bunch of things. I believe the argument is they attached a bunch of things like social stuff. Like, how much do you engage in, activism? How often are you involved in, social activities on campus? What other things are you doing other than just pure academic work? They're like trying to slow them down. They're literally trying to slow them down.
Yeah, that's another great example too. Like even just that they can blanket Asian like that as such a.
Right.
Like
it's Indian, it's Chinese. There's a lot of, but
yeah,
people that come from a hard place are willing to work hard. That's the difference. And the problem with meritocracy is that some motherfuckers will go for it. And if you get a whole country of people going for it, that gets scary for the people that just want to take naps.
It's the same psychology that goes in, like in a lot of the smaller Appalachian towns, like where we recorded was really close to Bramwell, West Virginia. But if you look at even if you look at Bramwell, West Virginia, and their recent political history, like the last mayor they had, she embezzled money from the town, and there was like, and this isn't a very small town, so government corruption exists like
everywhere,
and it almost is like maybe in those big cities. I understand definitely that I think things are intentionally neglected, like to create chaos and to create this, like you said, this need for more resources and more. But it's also just that maybe a lot of those people that are in positions are just very spineless and self-centered, and like they don't even care that people are dying in their streets. They're worried about the money that can be made and the ego and the power of it. It goes back to kind of what I said in that ARC speech about lack of leadership. I just see that, like, if we had people in big cities or in small Appalachian towns that had like a real backbone to them and like and had they were in a real position of like leadership where they wanted to fix things, that a lot of that stuff would get addressed and covered. But we just don't have the right people in power, maybe, even is what it is, even in local and state government.
The right people don't run. They don't want that job, man. They don't want that smoke. They don't want people attacking them. They don't want any of it. The right people are the people that don't want to be president.
It's almost like they've made these positions only appealing to people who are like sort of criminals. Sociopaths are criminals. Yeah.
For real. Like, who the fuck wants to run everything? You got to be crazy. Yeah. I don't even like running my whole house. I don't like having employees. It's too much responsibility.
What do you think would happen if just some normal people ran the country, though? Like just some average Joes. Like, what if me and you just went and ran if you ran for president? What would happen?
We would get killed. We'd get put in a fucking convertible.
They would definitely shoot. They would definitely be able to hit my big head. That's for sure. Yeah, they wouldn't.
My head's not that little either. You want a cigar?
Yeah, let's do it.
People in power have always been horrible.
Yeah.
People, when they get unchecked power, have always been horrible. That's why directionally, like this whole No Kings protest that's supposed to go down on Saturday, directionally, it's correct. Like, you don't want kings, you don't want oligarchs, but who's funding it? Well, it turns out it's funded by an oligarch. It's funded by a lady worth $20 billion who is the heiress to Walmart, Walmart, a company that employs cheap labor and sells a lot of stuff from China that would be affected by tariffs. You know,
it's like that with all of them, though. It's like
that with everything, man. Everything is like, it presents as being this moral situation. Like, they're really looking out for you. They're really looking out for people. They're never really looking out for people. There's always some primary profit motive that's causing any organized thing. It's never for the human race. Unless the people are all on mushrooms, it's never for the human race. And until mushrooms get legalized, that's probably never going to happen. And that's the real battle. The real battle is what gets legal first, AI or mushrooms. You know?
Yeah, it's
both of us will lead towards God. Both of them will lead towards God, but one with a completely different outcome.
It's going to take me like 4 or 5 times listening to it to be able to talk about it. But I've went back and listened to the maps of meaning on Audible, and it's one of Jordan's earlier works, you know, and he's talking about society and how it's structured, and basically talks about like the motivations and the origins of why people always resort to evil, you know, like in this. I mean, we talk so much about the Holocaust, but not at all about all the other horrible tragedies that happened there at the same time. But even like talking about with Russia, like just think about the Soviet Union and what happened there, and how easily people were turned against. It's just this little moment in time we're in is just so, we should just be so thankful for it, even though it is mass chaos right now. Like the fact that people are allowed to speak freely and do things and have the influence and power they do is just nuts when you think about. You're right. I mean, it's the same crazy people that we're arguing about today have always existed in different forms and with different names and faces.
But we're better off today than anybody else in human history, and this is a struggle and it is a battle. But I think we can come out of this on the other side if we all realize that we're being played against each other, and that's where it's important. You know, when you're paying people to protest, you're leaving pallets of bricks around, and you're organizing the whole thing, and you're shipping people in on buses, and you're making sure that all the people show up at a certain amount of time, and they're all compensated, and you give them water and snacks. Like, we got to realize what's going on here. This is not for you. When you light your city on fire and you burn cop cars, it's never good. It's not good for you. It's not good for the cause. They're not going to change the laws. One thing that I heard from Trump today that I thought was very promising is that he wants to make an executive order where people that are here for a long time, that have been like working on farms, that are undocumented, that they won't be targeted and that they'll be exempt from all this stuff. This is my feeling. Like, if you got here and you've integrated into our society, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have snuck in, but you did it and you're not breaking any laws. You're a hardworking person. Those people need a path to citizenship, man. Because if you don't, then they're just preyed upon by people that will take advantage of the fact that they're undocumented and not pay them what they're legally supposed to pay them, and not give them benefits if they're legally supposed to have benefits, and they can't say anything because they're worried that immigration's going to get called on them. So these people are in this constant state of anxiety, and then they hear about the ICE raids, like at Home Depot. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
there was a big ICE raid at the Facebook data center job not far from my place, where I used to have to go when I was at
Facebook data center ICE raid?
Yeah, at the Facebook project. It's in it's not far from me in Virginia. I think it's technically would it be South Boston? I think it's technically in
ICE
South
didn't
Boston.
bribe, or Facebook didn't bribe ICE.
There's
if I was Facebook, I would have fucking bought ICE some new cars.
There's a big job that a big job site that I used to have to go on some that's in the southern part of Virginia, like not far from North Carolina. And somebody was sending me pictures there from the other day, but they had a big ICE raid, and there was dudes like running through people were just escaping the job, like running away from the job and stuff. It was nuts. But
why? Like, gang members, yes. Criminals, yes. This, why? Like, I think, as crazy as it sounds, the only way to do this and look like you have a heart is evaluate people on a case-by-case basis. When you're looking at all this crazy shit right now with Doge and the uncovering of USAID and this dismantling of this bizarre left-wing ecosystem that's pretty much manufactured, like, what do you see is going to happen with the rest of the country?
I mean, look, there are a lot of people who did not vote for Trump. You know, he won, and yes, he won every swing state. And
half the country's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. So, and I'm not sure how many of them. I wonder how many. So I have a couple questions. How many people didn't vote for Trump and wanted to and are secretly glad he won? I bet there's a pretty significant number of those people who either didn't vote or didn't vote for him but wanted him to win anyway.
Ari says that. Ari says that New York City is like relaxed.
Yeah.
It's like everybody was relaxed after the election. Like, even the liberals are like, whew.
Yeah, thank God. They're like, woo.
Yeah, like, thank you, God, you saved me from myself.
Yeah, exactly. Because God doing for us what we can't do for ourselves. Yeah, so there's that, I wonder. But then I do wonder how many of the people are, what I worry about is how much this is where I get mad at the media for presenting this like, this is Hitler. We're having it notched up to 11 for the past 8 years. And now you've got this, because he was put in, it's almost like that energy has been transferred to Elon now. because now, did you see the Elon protests? They're protesting Elon. They're literally standing out there with signs that say, arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized by the same people that are going to lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at Doge. There's no way they're not. If you look at what Doge is uncovering, what they're uncovering with this USAID stuff, a lot of that stuff was organizing through NGOs protests. They organized the attempt at getting Trump impeached.
I thought you were going to say killed.
They organized
like,
the impeachment.
That's come out.
They also USAID spent $50 million on the lab that invented coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this not working. And when you have a lot of money involved, you're going to have organized protest. When you see protests, we all want to think protests like the 1960s. Yeah, fight the war, man. It's like organic, like peace, love, and hippie shit. But that's not what this is. What this is organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but do you think that the average liberal person, do you think that they're going to wake up and come around? Or do you think that they're going to be in like agony for 4 years and be...
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer, the economy improves, and they don't attack civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried about. And then at the end of it, you realize like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
I mean, that's my question though. Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
Well, we're saying they as if it's like one different, like one kind of person.
No, I mean...
There's so many different people in they.
Agreed. I mean, when I say they, I mean people who have bought into the idea that this person is going to make everything worse and we're going to slip into a fascist technocracy.
Some of them. Some of them are going to slip right into it. Some of them are going to wake up and come around. You know, it's a test. It's a test of character. It's a test of objectivity. It's a test of introspection. There's a lot of things that are going to happen where people are going to have to wonder, like, what was I rooting for? When I was rooting for this progressive liberal government, what was I actually rooting for? Was I rooting for warmongers who were making insane amounts of profit by funding overseas wars?
Yeah.
What was I rooting for? Was I rooting for a basic theft of our tax dollars that's gone to all these like completely useless endeavors that were only set up as ways to pilfer money?
Or the fall of America.
Yeah.
You know, this is a weird thing to like hate your own country so much that you want it to fall, or the dismantling of the kind of West as we know it.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is a feeling that Elon might have saved the West.